For the next few minutes, I want to invite you to consider how would it feel achieving the results you desire because you are highly engaged in your work, because you're doing what you're good at. And if you're a leader of a team, how would your productivity and results improve if you increase the overall engagement of your team and knew how best to lead based on your strengths and those of the people in your direct influence? I've been asked, how can I understand and focus on strengths? And rather than answer that once, I thought I'd make this quick, informative video about how you can do exactly that. If this sounds interesting, then continue to listen for the next few minutes, as I'm about to share with you a way that you can work towards that level of engagement and collaboration. How you can work and lead based on your strengths and the strengths of those around you. My name's David Coombe, and I'm going to share with you exactly how we can do this utilizing an industry-leading strengths profiling tool. In recent months, I shared a video which outlined the statistics of an employee engagement crisis and my thoughts on the importance of leveraging your strengths and those of your team as opposed to focusing on what may be considered development areas or weaknesses. As indicated in that video, the data suggests significant positive results and improvement with respect to employee engagement and productivity when you work to your strengths. Rather than go back over this data again, I've included the link to the previous video in the comments. The purpose of the current video you're watching is to give you more detail about a data-driven way to determine what your strengths are. This requires that we discuss the strengths profile responsible for the engagement results I previously indicated. In May of 2018, an article was published in Forbes detailing 11 tools that executives should use. The assessment I'm about to share with you was at the top of that list. The Strengths Assessment Profile is built on 34 strength themes that were defined after extensive research and study on the topic. This profile is broadly known as the Clifton Strengths Assessment. It is important to understand right from the start that each of the 34 themes are present in everyone to varying degrees. The degree of individual use of each theme is defined based on each individual's response to the questionnaire. There are not 34 different types of people or behaviours. When you look at the combination of the top 5 results, there is more than 33 million combinations. When you look beyond your 5 signature themes, the number of potential combinations go well beyond anything that we can conceive. Your profile is literally more specific than a fingerprint. This means that over the entire report, with all 34 themes present in each and every one of us, it's not only possible but likely that no two people will have the same profile. We are unique. Within the overall structure of the strength profile, the 34 themes are distributed across what's referred to as 4 strength domains. These domains are defined as executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. Let's understand those domains briefly. The executing domain is about organizing, repeatable activity, getting things done, taking an idea after inception and running with it to make it a reality. The influencing domain is about reaching the audience, selling an idea or an activity, and that could be either within the team or externally to the team. Relationship building is the type of skill required to build a team and hold a team together and to build relationships. It can even transform the team to be greater than the sum of its parts. The strategic thinking domain is about focusing on what could be. People strong with strategic thinking analyze information to assist with better decision making and better overall outcomes. When you look at the breadth of these themes across the 4 domains, you can see how our differences can set us apart. You can see how people achieve outcomes in their own unique way. So with that in mind, what is important to understand about how we apply our strengths and how do they interoperate? To learn how to use strengths, you must first understand that everyone's unique and how each person leverages and applies their strengths will be different. So to learn how to use strengths, you need to learn how you use and apply your strengths and how they show up in your behaviors. For every strength theme, there are both positives and negatives. And I can hear you asking, how can a strength be a negative? Well, strengths can be over-applied or applied during the wrong context, and this over-application of strengths can be distracting, disruptive, counterproductive, and overall represented as a weakness. Another area of consideration is how your signature strengths work together. The application of a strength within a person will typically define a set of behaviours. Combining strengths within an individual will result in different behaviour, a more unique set of behaviours that will further differentiate one person from the next. Understanding strengths in the context of each other becomes more important for us to understand when it's appropriate to combine your strengths and when to temper the use of one strength in favour of another. There's little point in using a strength theme to achieve one thing, whereas another strength theme introduced may simply undo or negate the previous behaviour. Having talked briefly about how unique your strengths make you as a person, you can see how your individual strengths make you a unique cog in the machine that's your team or larger organisation. So what's important when looking at strengths within a team is to understand how to bring those individual cogs together to create a team that works in a cohesive and productive manner. With that in mind, it's not just about understanding the power of your combined strengths. It's also about having a better view of your blind spots or those areas where you may have less capability, and thinking clearly about the opportunities you have to be creative in leveraging the combined strengths of the team to achieve those outcomes. How do managers and leaders lead such a unique group of people? We all know that leadership is a subjective endeavour, and with so many things, success as a leader depends upon the perspective of those you are leading. The best way to lead your team is to do so understanding both your strengths and theirs, and leveraging your strengths to lead in the context of understanding theirs. A leader proficient in understanding and working with strengths in mind will understand that your traits and behaviours are interpreted differently by each individual person. It's really about understanding which behaviours you exhibit will get the best results from those you work with. An important point to share is that the Clifton Strengths Assessment is not a recruitment tool. You cannot look at a person's results and determine whether or not a person's suitable for a role. While someone may have a similar profile to someone else, what the profile does not indicate is how that person will use their individual strengths. So you're thinking this makes a lot of sense, and you're wondering, how do I get started on focusing on strengths and building a strengths-based culture in my organisation? Well, the first thing to do is to contact me and arrange a complimentary discussion about what the next steps are. Whether you're looking just to see what it's all about by starting with an individual assessment to improve your own individual results, working with a single team or a leader, or jumping in to work with the entire organisation, each of these approaches can be catered to. I'm determined to serve and support you to achieving the outcome you desire. However you came to be considering the next steps, know that I use a flexible approach to developing people via their strengths. I layer the learnings and activities so that it allows for continued development over time and to ensure your continued success. I want to thank you for taking the last few minutes to better understand how you will create a level of success for yourself or within your organisation by understanding and better leveraging your strengths and the strengths of those around you. So many organisations overlook the capability they already have within the strengths of their teams. They look to the almost exclusive development of a person's weaknesses to improve their results. The truth is that proactively taking a strengths-based approach, managing development needs in the context of strengths, and fostering greater engagement is sure to create better strategies and ultimately improve success over the long term. I look forward to connecting with you to discuss a strengths-based approach for you in greater detail. Until then, I wish you continued success and have an outstanding day.